I pray that you didn't ruin another state because of this.
No, I waited till I got done with this. I'm also a taxpayer in this town, and I think the issues that have been brought up here tonight are issues that probably need to be addressed. As I look around this group of people that are gathered here, I wonder why these people are gathered here if they have a water issue caused by the school. Why aren't they down to the school? If this group of people went to the school board meeting every week, sooner or later they would take the estimated $40,000 out of their $25 to $30 million budget that they probably got $2 or $3 million worth of fat in, and they would fix the water problem that exists. Are we going to let the water problem on the old Alfred Road determine all the growth that takes precedent on Route 5? Are we going to stop all economic development in the town because of a water problem? Some caused by the people themselves, some possibly caused by the school, some have been there forever. During this last season, when the water was above the road, people were getting flooded out, the main culvert to take care of the water across Oak Street never had an excess of 4 inches of water running through it. It's a 15-inch culvert and 11 inches of it was unused. Makes me wonder why, if there's such a water problem there, the culvert doesn't handle it when it used to handle it. The school, when it used to get a flow, it was at the top of the culvert. There wasn't 11 inches of free flow left in the culvert. You know, when you talk about your tax bill, I'm in the top 10% of taxpayers in this town, and I'm above retirement age, and pretty quick I'm going to be getting Social Security, but I'm going to pay my tax bill, because our tax bill in this town is cheap. Our tax rate is inexpensive for the services we get. The people should go down to RSU 57 and tell those people, we no longer want you to clip us for 80 cents on every property tax dollar that we take. Then the same group of people should go to Augusta and speak to the people up there and say, we want you to fund us at 55%. You know, I'm not speaking in favor or against the library, but I'm telling you that most of the issues that have been raised here tonight don't belong here. They belong somewhere else. Our taxes are economical. We have a water problem. If it was caused by the school, then the school should be held accountable, and they should be made to correct it. As a selectman, we kept records of all the transactions that took place during the school being built. Several times the issue of the water was brought up. Dana Morton assured the school and assured the town that there was no water problem. So if there is a water problem at this time, I have felt then and I feel now that this should be addressed by RSU 57 and not totally by the town of Waterboro. The town of Waterboro has agreed to address the water issue, and within the next 30 to 45 days, the town's effort should be completed. If there is further problems, it should be back on RSU 57, where it should have been in the beginning. So I don't think we should stop all development in the town of Waterboro because some people have a problem. You know, there are engineering studies being done right now to determine the flow of water. I think you're going to find the flow of water flows in a different direction than has been presented here tonight. But, you know, people should look around. I have friends in New York. They bought a house for $148,000, and their tax bill is over $8,000 a year on a $148,000 home. Look at our tax bill here. They get less services than we do. And look around York County in the tax rate, and you'll find that our tax bill is not all that high. My tax bills in Lyman went up significantly this year, way more than they did in Waterboro. So I think that our taxes are a good buy. I think we ought to, you know, really think about our tax dollar and where it goes.
Thank you. Additional comments? Okay, Ron?
I just have one concern, Brenda Edgerly. Jack keeps bringing up Freeport Library as an example of what the town of Waterboro would have to spend for their library. And I went on the internet and I just picked out from the town of Freeport. It said their municipal budget for the town of Freeport is approximately $300,000 short. all municipal entities in the town will have to make cuts. The library will be facing a 2 full-time position cut and possibly closing on Saturdays. I also printed off what the budget is for the library for 2009. $377,175. That's what they budgeted for 2009 for the operation of their library. Again, Jack keeps pointing out that the library in Freeport is what we should kind of base ours on. I might have misunderstood you, but that's how I understood it. The budget for 2010, $373,425. Electricity, $16,000. Heat, $19,000. Books, $42,000. Payroll, $273,000. I just can't envision us taking on this in our budget process. We have elected a board of 5 selectmen to be overseers of the town, to make the decisions for the people of the town, the best decisions for everyone in the town. So my question is, do you feel that the town of Waterboro at this point in time, in this economy, with people having hardships, can we take on a $3 million debt and budget into our budget a 300-plus library budget per year? Can we afford it? How much is it going to cost us per year? Payback, debt payback, as well as operating expenses for the library.
Well, and that's,
And this is, but if this does go on the ballot and it is passed.
it is on the ballot. There is no
I mean,
question
yes,
about that.
It does pass. Those are questions that you should already know, right? I mean, you're going to be able to tell me, what do you think it's going to cost us per year for debt payback and operating expenses? I'm just pulling this off, you know, 377,000 as operating for Freeport, because you kept saying, look at Freeport.
I can clarify my remarks after you finish.
I'm done thinking that.
Okay. If I may,
Go ahead.
we are not Freeport. My intent from the architect is just to look at heating, electricity, the mechanical kinds of things. We don't have 9 employees that are college graduates that have been at the library for many, many years. We're comparing salaries from one place to another. I talked to Camden, I talked to Freeport, I talked to Durham. It's all apples and oranges because all the situations are such very different. The only reason I was using Freeport is just the mechanical, heating, electricity, that piece. I only took 40% of it because they're 17,000 square feet. They're almost twice the size of what we're talking about. And they're open twice as much as we are now. So it's not that I'm thinking we're going to become Freeport. We're nowhere close to becoming anything else other than the mechanical pieces of Freeport. That's all I have in mind.
Is there anybody else who has not commented that has a comment they would like to make?
My name is Paula Ahern. I live in Waterboro. My taxes with this new library will be approximately $45 extra a month. My husband and I are retired. We have a limited income. I raised 3 children. I'm helping raise 11 grandchildren. I paid for them to go to school, and they had libraries in the school. And this was 40 years ago. Today, take them off to the, as my husband said, the Taj Mahal. I mean, this just seems ridiculous. I came from a big town in Massachusetts, which I probably shouldn't say here. We didn't have a library like this. My kids grew up. They all have excellent jobs. They were all very well read. Their children are very well read. And I hear about all these services. Now, when I came to Waterboro and I had my rubbish, they said, well, you have to drive it to the transfer station. And after about a month of being in Waterboro, we had a break-in on both our cars, and we called the York County Sheriff, and he said, well, this isn't our week to do Waterboro. You have to call the state police. I'm trying to think of some of the other things we've been missing out on. But I can't see how they can say, oh, Town Hall, it was open 5 days a week. Now it's open 4. you're cutting every place except on our taxes, and now this new $10.25, which I read in the paper a short time ago would be $8 a month. Then somebody said, no, you're looking at 10. Now it's 10 and a quarter. Now you know that's not going to be the end of it. It's going to be more, and it's going to increase. And yes, I feel children should be taught how to read, but I don't think we need a $4 million library to teach them. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who has not made a comment that would like to comment? Given the hour and that we still have a full agenda and another public hearing to run, I would think that perhaps we might want to, I understand that somebody who's already spoken that would like to speak, but I think that, we said we wanted to do just one comment per person. Is the board agreeable to wrapping up this public hearing then?
I'm not sure, other than just a clarification of that it is on the ballot, and people will be voting in November. But I'm not sure another round is going to get you any more positive or negative feedback.
I'd just like a quick rebuttal for something that was said.
It's not debate.
I think that we need to finish up the public hearing.
Can I ask a question? Just a question. What percent of the people in the town of Waterboro have a valuation of $165,000 and less? Anybody any idea?
That's an average figure.
What?
That's an average. So
Average?
half will be up and half will be down. Roughly speaking.
And that figure came from the tax assessor. So do I have a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Next is the public hearing. Next is the public hearing on the property assessed clean energy ordinance, known as the PACE ordinance. And this is in relation to a program that is being offered by Efficiency Maine that allows residents of the town of Waterboro to apply for loans to make their homes more energy efficient. In order for residents to be eligible to apply for these loans, it's necessary for the town to have an ordinance that has an agreement with Efficiency Maine. The ordinance that we have is a template ordinance that has been developed, and I would entertain a motion to move into the public hearing for the PACE ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. Are there any comments on the PACE ordinance? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the PACE ordinance.
I move to close the public hearing on the PACE
Second?
ordinance.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, hearing a delegation. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to correspondence. We have the MMA voting delegates credential form, and this is for the MMA conference that's coming up, and they're asking for the town to delegate who for the town would be authorized to vote at the conference.
Who's going? Do we know?
Who's going, Nancy?
On that day, I think Matt and myself are going.
So I would say that we delegate
Matt and Nancy is the
Matt and
primary, and
Yep.
Matt is the
alternate.
alternate.
Does that require a motion, or
Yeah.
would you?
So I'd move that Nancy be the primary delegate to the convention and Matt be the alternate.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? All right. Reports, town administrator's report. Nancy is playing DJ tonight, and she doesn't have a microphone over there, so she asked me to read her administrator's report for her. Town administrator's report for September 28th. The work has been completed at the old landfill as requested by DEP's inspection. Received the annual dividend check from MMA Risk Management as a result of the town's good loss experience and loss prevention program. The check received is in the amount of $1,560. A joint meeting was with Clint Andrews, Transfer Station Manager, Owens McCullough from Sebago Tex, Lucas Babin, the lowest bidder, to discuss the question posed by Owens. Also discussed town purchase versus bidder purchase on material. Owens had concern over who would be responsible for overage. For instance, bid price is for X amount of yards of cement and it takes more than what was in his bid. His concern is that would make the town responsible for the extra, whereas if it is done by the contractor, it would be at their expense. With the same example, did also discuss if the contractor could say the town will purchase up to the bid amount of cement and contractor would be responsible for any extra. Decision was that Lucas would give Clint a breakdown list and Clint would call around to see if he could get a better price for the town purchasing and then forward to Owens to review to even see if there's any savings. Ballots been ordered for the November election. Prediction from the state for the turnout in the June primary will be sending 100% voter list for ballots. 70% will be regular ballots and 30% will be absentee. As a result of the absentee ballot request being sent to voters for an assortment of sources, it appears that there will be a large amount of absentee votes cast. FYI, the application is not being sent from the town. Apparently, one of the sources spelled Townhouse Road wrong. Oak Hemlock Drainage, next Monday, the last of the materials needed to complete the project will be delivered, and project will commence as soon as DOT permit is received. Application has been submitted. Reminder to the board that any CIPs that the board would like to submit, the deadline is October 22nd. Any questions for Nancy? Okay. Selectmen's report.
Just, it's more of an announcement again, just to once again remind people that the gala auction at the Heritage Company is this Saturday between 4 and 6. It's a lot of fun. There's a live band, and there's plenty of great auction items. Look at, you can go in and Google the Friends of the Waterboro Public Library and look at the items on there. It's a lot of fun and it's a good cause.
Okay. Dennis?
Transfer Station Committee meeting last night, which really turned into a workshop. We are looking for a couple of more members for the Transfer Station Committee. We need 2 more to make a full committee. Encouraging news, though, and certainly Clint has dropped off his annual report to us tonight, but everybody talked about single sort, not going to work, wasn't going to do that. There was a lot of anxiety when we first started with single sort that we weren't seeing any increase. Last fiscal year, right, Clint, or is it calendar year? I think it's calendar year based on EcoMaine. We had a 16.3% recycling rate. In the last 4 months with the single sort, and it's been going up since really the second or third month we were into it. May was 19%, July was 21%, June was 21%, July was 23%, and August was 26%. So it's having an impact, and we'll see that in reduction in waste being hauled to EcoMaine. So we appreciate those of you that are recycling, and we've tried to make it as easy as possible. And had a good meeting with the business manager from RSU 57 and Mary Ross, who's one of our representatives on the budget committee, to launch a recycling program in Massabesic Elementary School. So I think there's some enthusiasm to do that. David is going to attend the school board's finance committee meeting in a week and present to them, because they've got to make some investment in containers. So more to come.
Going from 16% to 24% is a nice jump. That's saving us money. If we can go another 8%, get up to 32, 33%, we'll be doing really well. And by doing this, by recycling, you are saving us money.
I find it interesting that we're now recycling, 40 ton? Somewhere around 40 ton a month. It's going north of that now. In Bridgeton, who was the model, right, the poster child for recycling in a municipality, is recycling about 43 to 44 ton a month. So we're up in those numbers now, so.
Gordon?
Clint, do you happen to, off the top of your head, because I haven't had a chance to read this report, you just gave it to us tonight, but that 10% increase over the 16% to the 26% that it is now, do you have any idea how much money that has actually saved the town?
I think we figured each percentage point was about $8,000.
Right.
So
$80,000?
$80,000 has been saved?
$8,000 to the town.
On an annualized basis, right?
Right.
Wow.
So we're on track to save 80,000. We haven't saved 80,000 just
Eight.
because of this.
8.
Yeah, but
For
Eight-
every
eight-
1%, it's 8,000.
every 1% it's 8, so there's 10, that's 80,000. 10 times 8?
Right. If we can finish, if we can sustain 26% as opposed to 16% last year, it would be an $80,000
For the year.
savings for the year.
Okay.
And if we keep going up, if we get another 10%, if we can get that other 10%, $160,000 is a lot of money.
And more importantly, it continues to help us curb costs, so that we don't have to come back in another year or two with another proposal for some sort of a pay per bag or something of that nature, because it's sooner or later, if we do nothing, that's going to come again. But I think this is encouraging, what we're seeing.
Okay. The only thing I have to report on is received a call from a Partridge Road resident, and they're having a problem with a road erosion issue on the townhouse and where the big hill comes down. And I did talk to Fred about that. And while I was talking to Fred, he said that he has received the proposal from, or the recommendation from FEMA on what we need to do on Mass Camp Road, and he's going to come in next week and give us that proposal.
Good.
So, all right, moving on to new business. Vote to approve amendment to the solid waste disposal and control ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Vote to approve property assessed clean energy PACE ordinance.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. Committee appointments. We have 3 requests for committee appointments. These are all reappointments. The Donna Mayo, Kelly Mayo, and Chris Genest, all requesting to be reappointed to the Cemetery Committee.
I will move that we appoint all 3 members to the Cemetery Committee.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion?
Do we have any breakdown on their attendance at meetings,
I don't-
percentage? Or is there even
It's only
a requirement?
It's not a year-round committee. It only meets really during the
I think 7 months.
7 months.
6 or 7 months. And I don't believe there was any issue with attendance when we got the committee reports back a few months ago off of them. They're actually a fairly vibrant committee.
Yeah,
Yep.
motivated.
Maybe we ought to try to get them on some of the other boards then.
There's called a certain thing called interest.
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? All right. Next on the agenda, discuss a vote to approve abatements. We have a number of abatements in our packet this week. The 1101, 1102, 1103, 1104, 1105, 6, and 7.
I'll move that we accept 1101 through 1107 inclusive.
Is there a second to that?
Second discussion.
Okay. Discussion?
I'd like to know the specific reason for these.
They're in the...
They're all veterans exemptions?
No.
No. All of them have a paragraph that say why, what the abatement is.
Yep.
Some of them were errors. One of them is a property changed hands.
Okay, that's,
There was a valuation issue.
Do they ever go the other direction?
No.
I've
No, yeah,
always
we
seen...
do have supplemental occasionally, right? My only question to Jerry, and we don't have to delay this for that, but is that, you know, there's several folks that applied for veteran exemptions that evidently didn't get recorded by the time the tax bills went out. So is that a systemic problem, or is that, and it's only a couple, so I guess I'm not too concerned other than the fact that, does it go in the computer doesn't pick it up, didn't they go in the computer? So maybe we just tee that up with him and get an answer, but I wouldn't hold these up for that. That's more of an administrative issue.
I'm satisfied.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Okay. Discuss vote water district payment. Dennis, I'll turn this one over to you.
All right,
This was yours.
Dave Benton, who is the chair of the water district, I guess they call him the chair, right? Prior to budget season, we had a meeting with the Maine Rural Water, the water district. Nancy, I think Gordon and I represented the board, and it was a discussion over the significant increase in water bills that were going before the Public Utility Commission. The town's share of that, which doubled from $21,000 a year to $42,000 a year. Anyway, long story short, there was some discussion in and around that there were some studies being done, there was some refinancing being done that may have given him the opportunity to reduce some of the operating costs. We agreed not to challenge the public utilities, or challenge the rate increase to the Public Utilities Commission, because we were still working with them to help them reduce cost. So consequently, I think we budgeted $37,000. The bill was submitted for the whole nut of $42,000. We held that payment, if you recall, about a month ago, so we could get clarification. Water District is concerned that they have a obligation coming due. Wanted to know if we would come up with some consideration, kind of batted around, well, what if we paid half? David seemed amenable to that, but I'm not sure what other funding they have. So I would propose that we did delay the initial, or the full payment of the year. I'm not sure why we would pay it up front anyway, but we can have that discussion later. But I would recommend that we cut them a check for 50%. We're now almost 50% through the year, but of $21,000, and then we will sit down with the district, the water district guys, and talk about whether or not they've been able to reduce the operating costs so that that's more in line to what we budgeted. So I would offer that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
And I guess the only thing that I would ask is that we cut a check tomorrow. So,
What's that going to require us coming in to sign that warrant tomorrow at some point? Okay, at what time do you anticipate that? So I can adjust and swing by?
She usually do that within the first hour or something.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It shouldn't take very long, so, and probably before noon, so.
Anytime before? Okay, before. All right.
All right, move on. Next, discuss vote RHR Smith check and reconciliation proposal. Currently, we have an issue with the check reconciliation being behind, which is in turn holding up the audit. The treasurer needs some assistance in getting the reconciliation up to date, and we have an opportunity to engage RHR to assist the treasurer with getting this up to date so that we can get the audit done in a timely fashion. RHR is estimating it'll take about 5 days to bring the reconciliation up to date. During those 5 days, we need to make sure that the treasurer is here so that she's involved in that process. And we would probably need to have other staff help in some of the other duties that the treasurer may have so that she can work with the auditor in that reconciliation. Nancy forwarded the proposal that we had, and it's up for what we want to do with it, so I'll open it up for discussion.
I think this is something, unfortunately, that we've got to do. I mean, this is essentially what the salary of the treasurer is to keep updated reconciliation reports, and they have gotten woefully delayed. And so, in doing this here and getting this updated, I would certainly like to see that our administrator do a monthly check on this, and that it becomes part of an evaluation system.
Yeah, I guess my, we had some problems with Trio, where we lost the check register. I think we went out and hired Trio to write a program to revitalize that, right, and pull that back in, so. But I would, we're now to the point where we need to get it done. I don't think there's enough hours in a day to do that, but I would, I guess, and I'd make this motion that we engage RHR, which is Smith and Associates or whatever, RHR to spend the week that they need to, and ask that as part of that, the administrator allow whatever hours need to be worked by the treasurer to support that. And furthermore, I think we need to look at other things that haven't been had the opportunity to update. So over the next month or so, I think whatever hours the treasurer needs to put in to do those, if that's an extra day a week or whatever the case may be, I think we need to support that with cleaning this up so that we can get the audit done in a timely manner.
I did talk to Chris from RHR when he was in here a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that he said is that he'll come before any select board and say that the check reconciliation program that Trio has is cumbersome and difficult to use. And he actually has an Excel spreadsheet that he has towns that are using Trio utilize to do the check reconciliation, and it makes it a lot simpler. Apparently with the Trio system, you have to manipulate numbers and whatnot. And so he's shared that with our treasurer, and that's supposed to make things much easier, so she'll be able to use that from here on out and hopefully not have to get into the manipulation of numbers and whatnot that Trio requires to reconcile the check. So we have a motion from Dennis. Is there a second?
With the discussion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Second discussion.
Discussion?
I just would like to make it abundantly clear from to all those that may be listening and those that are in the audience right now that we're certainly not casting any aspersions on the treasurer. That as Selectman Abbott has so eloquently stated, we did have a significant problem with the software, and that contributed. And as anybody can tell you, once you're in a hole, it's sometimes hard to get back out of that hole, and that's the situation that we're in now, that we have to have an outside source assist the treasurer in filling that hole in so that we're back on level footing. And once that takes place, then with the new Excel spreadsheet and the changes that we've had by having a program written in Trio, that it should not be an issue in the future, that it should be done in a very timely manner.
I mean, my concern is that on the whole, that it has become a big hole, and it's gotten dug deeper and deeper every month that the reconciliation hasn't been done. So would like to know if there's more time needed, or if there needs to be an adjustment to software, if there needs to be support. We get that information on a timely basis before we run into a 15-month lag.
And I think part of the effort to reorganize work, okay, one of the issues is when Julie is doing other things, there's only so many hours in the week, right, to do everything that's got to be done, because she's in essence a one-man band, and I don't mean that with any, but she really is, right? So we need to get other folks engaged in some of those activities, and I think then we need to look at, is it a day a month that's, that she needs separate, that, while everything else is closed here on a Monday, that she comes in and does check reconciliations, or, I mean, there's some scheduling that we could do to take her out of the busy day-to-day stuff so that she can concentrate on that going forward. So
Absolutely.
that's part of the reorg that we really need to look at.
Yep.
Okay, all set?
Well said.
All right, so we have a motion second. All those in favor? Okay. Discuss WAB annual meeting invitation. The selectmen have again received an invitation to attend the WAB annual meeting and dinner, which is going to be on Tuesday, October 5th. It starts at 5:30. 5:30 social, 6 o'clock meeting, followed by dinner at 199 Secocas. If we're interested in attending, we have to RSVP by this Friday. In the past few years, we've kept a short agenda that night so that we could go over to the event. Looking ahead at what we have so far next week, we have,
Could we back up just a hair on this?
yeah,
Did I hear you say that was October 5th?
Yeah.
Okay, the date that I was given by the president of WAB was October 4th.
it's on our Tuesday night meeting. I have the invitation.
Do you?
Yep.
Okay, because this is the date that he gave me so that it wouldn't conflict with our meeting, because that's what happened last year, apparently.
I think they had a change of dates. I think they
Ah.
might have started with the 4th, and then it got changed at some point, but the invitation is Tuesday, October 5th.
Well, I'll have to speak to him about it, because I was right in the store and entered this while I was talking to him in his office.
Yep.
Okay, that's clarified.
What we have on our agenda so far for next week is to discuss John's proposal with the Finance Committee. We have the tentative agreement for Susan Swed that Jerry put in our packets this week that we'll need to approve. We have an appointment with Fred regarding the Mass Camp Road Bridge. We really need to look at if the selectmen are going to submit any CIP plans, because that's only a couple weeks away. I don't know if anything else would pop up this week. Okay, so we have an appointment. And I don't know who we have for committee reports next week. And cable TV. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got, and as much as I like to think that we can continue to support them, at their annual meeting, their meeting really, up to the meeting, there's not a lot of involvement from us other than just there's not a lot of involvement anyway, other than a social event, right? So, I'm not sure, but we can conduct our business, but I don't see us getting over there quickly, right? It's 7-ish before we get there, at best, based on what you just said. And that's if we start a little early.
Because we have 6 o'clock appointments, so I mean, we couldn't, if we started at 5:30 and ripped through, I think we can quickly get through the Susan Sweat agreement. We'd probably have Fred come in early, get through that. The CIP plans, I guess we could put that off to the following week, although that would only give us another week to discuss it. We've got John's proposal with Finance Committee. I think there'll be some
It
discussion.
should be fairly quick, I think. I mean, in a sense, what I'd like to do is formally, it's a draft, and get ideas on anything that needs to change. Is the general draft acceptable? And if there are if we need to tweak it a little bit, then I can go back and then you can put it before the selectmen in another week to pass it.
So, yeah, I think if we started at 5:30, 6:30, as soon as we'd be out of here.
And if they're okay with that, that's fine, but their meeting supposedly starts at 6,
Yep.
right? Historically, it doesn't. But, I mean, as long as they're not offended by us coming in late, I guess, is really the question.
I guess I'm with Dennis on this. I don't think we ought to be holding up the conducting of town business to attend what essentially is a social function. So I'm not as concerned with stepping on their toes as I would be stepping on the toes of all the citizens of the town. So if we weigh it out, then I know that sounds probably like a political commercial, but that's just the way I feel.
No, I think you're right. I think there comes a point where, I mean, certainly appreciate the invitation, but it falls, and it's not at the end of the month where we traditionally
Yeah,
have a
our
workshop
workshop.
agenda. So,
So if they know, if you know, you don't see us by a certain time, we're not going to be there, you know, because we're still in meeting.
Yep, okay. Appoint deputy town clerks. Is this in our packet, Nancy? And whether they're to be signed? It needs to be you and Nancy J, correct? Okay. We need to appoint deputy town clerks for the November election. Nancy Brandt has suggested it's Nancy Brandt and Nancy Johnson, so I need a motion to appoint them as deputy town clerks.
So moved.
second.
All those in favor? Okay. Discuss vote to extend the cable franchise agreement. We've seen a couple of these come across this year. This one is an extension to November 30th, 2010, to allow time to finalize documentation.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just tell Tony to speed it up.
All those in favor? All right. Old business, we have none this evening.
Oh, come on.
Move on.
And I don't know what you want to do with this, but we talked a little bit about this in goal setting, and that was getting what I will call an agenda status report from the town administrator, so that she gives us a lot of backup information on the agenda, but it would be also nice to have her recommendation on items too.
You know, we have the plan that we put into place last year that had a packet for every agenda item, and it included Nancy's recommendation on that. I think we've played it out a couple of times where we've used it, but we're not utilizing it maybe as much as we can be. And so I think the solution to that simply could be, we're going to start utilizing that form more often.
Yeah, I would like, I mean, there's some items here,
It was only for appointments that it was set up for. If you're gonna change it, then you're gonna probably have to go back and change your bylaws.
I beg your pardon?
It's only for appointments. The piece that's in the bylaws now
Yep.
is if there's an appointment coming before the board, that form has to be filled out.
Yep.
So it has to be expanded to, so I think we need to have some discussion relative to that.
Why can't
Okay,
that
I was
just be an
just looking at some
administrative
items such
function?
as the water district payment. You had that information there, but it's if one of the selectmen didn't have that information, it would be nice to have the administrator with here's the information, here's my recommendation, what we do on that report.
So, how about we add that to next week's agenda?
Yep.
If we have the time.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll take a lot of time.
All right, so we have, I'll entertain a motion to
The
sign
agenda status report.
warrants for bills and payroll.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, pending decisions, well, the PACE ordinance can come off of that. We took care of that this evening. We have the medical marijuana ordinance,
We're still waiting for that, aren't we, from
from the planning board.
From the planning board.
The transfer station project, which Clint has been, and Nancy have been working on, and our public service announcements. For the week's action list, I need to, I've already sent Jerry an email asking him about the veteran exemption abatements. We're going to take care of getting the water district, 50% of the water district check out tomorrow. Nancy can follow up with R.H. Smith about the check reconciliation. I'll let WAB know about we're going to have our meeting, we'll try to get over there. We need the appointment papers drafted for the Nancys. And,
You say that in a good way.
yes, and you'll take care of getting the franchise agreement over to where it needs to go, Pam.
Tony.
Discussion of agenda items. Again, for next week, we have John's proposal for the Finance Committee. We have the agreement for proposal with Susan Swed. We have an appointment with Fred regarding Mass Camp Road. talk about CIP plans, town administrators, recommendations for agenda items. Anything else?
ACO.
ACO appointment. What time was he coming in, Pam?
I told him at 6, because I didn't know you had an
Oh, we can just,
I think he's coming, I think I sent his memo.
45.
we'll just do Fred's after his then.
Yeah, I don't think it really
Yeah.
matters.
Okay. Anything else?
I'd like the chair to recognize Representative Joe Wagner in the audience and see if he has any comments and any news in Augusta or anything like that that he'd care to share with us this evening, or?
I wish I had something to share. Other than comment on how the discussion of the library went in this room. So it was the best in terms of democracy, best in terms of the people of this town. Frank, and a strong discussion.
All right. Anything else? I would entertain, well, actually, items needing signature, warrants for bills and payroll. We have the minutes for 9/21/2010.
So
Those are
moved.
in here. Okay, second for 9/21.
Yep.
All those in favor? All right. Reminders, the Water District trustees are meeting on Monday, October 4th, 6 PM at the Town Hall. Tuesday, October 5th at 6 PM is the Selectmen's meeting at the Town Hall Annex, reporting our Saco River Community Television and Cable TV. Wednesday, October 6th at 6 PM is the 2020 Comprehensive Plan Update Committee. They are meeting at Central Station. And Wednesday, October 6th at 7 PM, the Planning Board is meeting at the Town Hall Annex.
Move that we adjourn.
Second? Any discussion on that? All those in favor? All right. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.
Here.